ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. Hare Krishna, everyone. So we'll continue reading chapter 4 today from the book Harinam Cintamani by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. On the other hand, the status of Grihastha, Brahmachari, Banaprastha, and Sannyasi, Sudra, Vaishya, Kshatriya, and Brahmana of the Varnashrama system and their respective habits and qualities are external distinctions which in no way determine who is a sadhu. The chief characteristic of a sadhu is his complete surrender to Krishna, which is not dependent on a certain varna or ashrama. Through the example of Raghunath Das, Sri Chaitanya taught how the Grihastha Vaishnava should act. The married man should enter household life with a mind steadily fixed on service to Krishna, not enamored by sense gratification, and this way the householder can gradually cross the ocean of material existence. Instead of playing as a false renunciate, Markata Vairagi, enjoying with the senses in the cloth of a sannyasi, it is better to take only those things necessary for survival in the material world while cultivating non attachment. One should always be internally fixed on Krishna, though externally one may act according to one's social custom in Varna and Ashrama. Krishna quickly delivered such Grihastha Vaishnavas. When Raghunath Das gave up household life, the Lord gave him instructions on the life of renunciation. One should neither listen to materialistic conversations nor speak materialistic topics to others. One should not eat fancy food or wear fancy clothing. One should always chant the holy name, respecting all without expecting honor, and meditate on eternal service to Radha and Krishna in Vraja within one's mind. The principal characteristic is one, namely surrender to Krishna's name, which will prevail in all sadhus, no matter what varna or ashrama, grihastha, sannyasi. However, according to ashram or varna, the secondary characteristics will differ to some degree. And even if there appears some bad element or fault in a person, if he has the chief characteristic, surrender to Krishna, he must be considered a sadhu and to be respected and served by all. This is Krishna's statement in Bhagavad Gita. When one has developed a taste for chanting the pure name, it is said that chanting just one time will destroy the influence of all past sins. Some remnants of those sins may still remain, but they will completely vanish by the influence of the holy name. Since these traces of sin will quickly go, that person is known as the most righteous person. Of course, if the materialist sees those traces of sin in a Vaishnava sadhu, he may consider that the sadhu is just like a materialistic sinner. If he should criticize the sadhu because the sadhu has a trace of sin coming from previous sinful activity, he is committing sadhu nenda. He is to be considered a rascal because of his fault of criticizing a Vaishnava. And by this nama aparad, offense unto the one who has surrendered to the name, he falls directly under the wrath of Krishna. It is concluded that one who is solely devoted to Krishna and sings his name is known as a sadhu. Other than the devotees of Krishna, no one else is considered to be a sadhu. One who considers himself a sadhu is filled with material pride, but one who thinks himself to be the lowest rascal humbly takes shelter of Krishna and sings Krishna's name is the real sadhu. Knowing himself to be less than a blade of grass, considering himself like a tree of tolerance, not expecting honor for himself and giving honor to all other entities, he chants the name and attains attraction for Krishna. If a person of the above qualities chants the holy name even once, he is considered a Vaishnava and should be respected. The Vaishnava is the friend and spiritual leader of the universe. He is an ocean of mercy to all living entities. Whoever criticizes such a Vaishnava goes to hell, birth after birth, for there is no path for real liberation other than bhakti. And bhakti is obtained only by the mercy of the Vaishnavas. In the pure Vaishnava resides Krishna's energies of bhakti, Hladini, and Sambit. Thus, by contacting a Vaishnava, one can also receive Krishna bhakti. For this reason, also, the food remnants, the food water, and the food dust from the pure Vaishnavas are three powerful articles for creating bhakti. If one stays near a pure Vaishnava for some time, one can receive the bhakti energy flowing from his body. If one can bind that energy within one's heart, after having developed strong faith, bhakti will develop and one's body will begin to tremble in ecstasy. Thus, by living close to a Vaishnava, soon devotion will appear in one's heart. First, such a person will begin chanting the holy name, and then, by the power of the name, will receive all good qualities. This is the particular power of Uttamadhikari. A Vaishnava may be a Vaishnava may be criticized on four counts. He is caste by birth, previous sins of or faults in this life, an premeditated accidental act of sin and present traces of previous sinful activity. Though all these conditions may be present in a Vaishnava, they are insubstantial grounds for criticism of a Vaishnava. One who so blasphemes a Vaishnava will be punished by Yamraj because the Vaishnava is spreading the glories of the Lord's name. The Lord does not tolerate such criticism of a Vaishnava. Giving up dharma, yoga, sacrifice, and jnana for the name of Krishna, the Vaishnava is the topmost person. Criticism is a serious offense. Furthermore, he does not criticize the scriptures or the demigods, but simply takes shelter of the name. One should rather eagerly take the dust from the feet of a Vaishnava, regardless of whether he is a Grihastha or sannyasi. One will treat him only according to his advancement as a Vaishnava, which is based upon his degree of attraction to the holy name. Such things as caste or asrama, wealth, learning, youthfulness, beauty, strength, or number of followers are not factors. We'll stop here and we'll just summarize what we have read in today's chapter. So it is mentioned that the chief characteristic of a sadhu is his complete surrender to Krishna, which is not dependent on a certain varna or ashrama. Externally, one may act according to one's social custom in varna and ashrama, but internally should be fixed on Krishna. They are far better than those who do sense gratification in the cloth of a sannyasi. So, when Raghunath Das, here the example of Raghunath Das Goswami is given. When Raghunath Das Goswami gave up household life, the Lord gave him some instructions on the life of renunciation, and those instructions are like one should neither listen to materialistic conversation, not speak material topics to others, not eat fancy food or wear fancy clothing, and all should always chant the holy name, respect others without expecting any respect for himself, and meditate upon the holy name and Radha Krishna in his mind. So, one who feels himself to be less than a blade of grass, considering himself like a tree of tolerance, respect others but do not expect any honor for himself, always chant and fully surrender at the lotus feet of Krishna is known as a Vaishnava. And whoever criticizes those Vaishnava will go to hell birth after birth. It's mentioned that a sadhu who has taken shelter at lotus feet of Krishna may have some reactions due to sinful activities in past, but he should not be judged by that. Krishna mentions that in Bhagavad Gita also. I think that verse is Bhagavad Gita chapter 9, verse 30, where it is mentioned that apiche suduracharo vajate mam ananyavak sadhureva shamantavya samyak vyavashito hi saha. Even if one commits the most abominable action, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated in his determination. Then it is also mentioned like the food remnants, the food water, food dust, those three things from pure Vaishnavas are so powerful to create bhakti. We have seen like when Maharaj came and after they honor prasadam, we distribute the maha among devotees. So that's so powerful. If we stay close to such pure devotees, we will be purified. So that's the power of Uttamadhikari. Sometimes people criticize a Vaishnava based on his caste and accidental sin committed by him or presence of traces of sin from previous life. So whoever criticize these Vaishnavas, they will be punished by Yamaraj. So, because a pure devotee is pure Vaishnava is very dear to Krishna, that's called like Sadhuninda. So, yes, that's my understanding from today's reading is now we